In today's video, we're going over the new PlayStation Store sale that is live right now. It's a smaller sale, an EA publisher sale, and I know everybody's hating on EA, but there are definitely some good games discounted as a part of this sale. Outside of that, I also got some physical deals for you guys coming from GameFly on My Hero 1's Justice, Yakuza Kiwami 2, Wolfenstein 2 The New Colossus, and everyone's favorite game, Fallout 76. Also, I've got an update for you guys on PlayStation Now. PS Now is continuing to make moves. It's been relatively successful ever since Sony started making upgrades to it. Now you can download PS4 games, and now PS Now has launched across Italy, Spain, Portugal, Finland, Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. And lastly, I do want to give you guys an update on Apex Legends. There's a rumor circulating that the anticipated Battle Pass will only cost $10. More on that at the end of this video. First up, let's take a look at the new EA publisher sale. Again, everybody, myself included, hasn't been all too kind to EA recently. However, they've definitely released some okay games this generation, and there are some good games on sale. Dragon Age Inquisition Game of the Year Edition is 75% off for $9.99. That is a great deal. I know Dragon Age Inquisition got a little bit of a mixed reception, but I thought it was rather good, and the Game of the Year Edition includes a lot more content. So $10 for that is really good. I really thought that was the first truly great RPG of this generation. At this point, it has been outpaced by some games, but Dragon Age Inquisition is still worth a buy. And at this point, this is BioWare's best game that they've put out recently. When you compare it to single-player RPGs like Mass Effect Andromeda, yeah, Dragon Age Inquisition is a lot better. One of the surprise hits from last year, A Way Out, is 40% off for $17.99. This is a great story-driven adventure. And of course, this is a game that can only be played cooperatively, so you have to keep that in mind. However, if one person buys a copy of A Way Out, you can invite another friend for free. They don't have to own the game, so that's great. $18 for that game is really good. And if you do assess it like, hey, you're splitting the cost with a friend, $9 a pop is pretty great for A Way Out. It's a game that I think everybody should play. We don't get a lot of great cooperative games these days, but A Way Out was definitely one of them. Couple of good racing games for you guys. Need for Speed Rivals, a launch title for the PS4, is 75% off for $4.99. That's a really good deal. I know NFS has kind of gone to the wayside with its recent releases, but Need for Speed Rivals was quite a good game. Reminded me of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, and that game was really great. So if you do want some Need for Speed, $5 for Rivals is a pretty good buy. Another racing game, Burnout Paradise Remastered, I think is at its lowest price yet, 75% off for $4.99. I don't believe this game is even a year old, and it released at $39.99. And back in early 2018, I was complaining a lot about Burnout Paradise Remastered being released at $40. Well, look at that. Now it's down to just $5, and I would give it a strong recommendation. Now, yes, this game did release, over 11 years ago? However, it's a pretty good open-world arcade racer. Does have some dated elements, but overall, a lot of fun to be had with Burnout Paradise Remastered. Battlefield titles are on sale as well. Battlefield 4 is down to $4.99. Really good deal on that. Battlefield 5, on the other hand, is 50% off for $29.99. This was recently a little bit cheaper for PlayStation Plus subscribers as a part of a recent sale. It was down to $24, but if you want to check out BF5, I've often said that it is a good game. It was just the marketing for the game was atrocious. Of course, the commercial reception suffered because of that, but if you want a quality Battlefield game, you're gonna find that in Battlefield 5, so it's definitely not a bad buy. I do see EA Sports UFC 3 down to $13.19, not a bad buy on that. The deluxe edition is $19.79. A bunch of the sports games are on sale. Sims 4 is on sale. Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 are on sale. Like I said, Battlefront 2, as bad as that game's reception was, heading into its release, the fundamental gameplay elements of BF2 aren't all too bad. Titanfall 2 Ultimate Edition down to $7.49. Of course, that game's getting some attention with the release of Apex Legends. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 is down to $4. Definitely a pretty good deal on that. I mentioned Sims 4 earlier, but you can get the base game for just $8. That's quite good. And there are a couple of other deals available as well. I see FE to name one, but check out the entirety of the sale for yourself. A couple of good highlights there. Not the biggest sale in the world, but definitely some games worthwhile to check out. Moving on from that, I know we've been covering a lot of digital deals recently, but for those of you guys that like to buy your games physically, GameFly has got a couple of good deals right now. My Hero 1's Justice, the first video game on My Hero Academia, it is down to $24.99, so that's a great price for My Hero 1's Justice. Now, this is obviously a game that you should be buying if you're a fan of the IP. If you're not a fan of the IP, no reason to buy this. A lot of the issues with My Hero 1's Justice is that it is more flash than substance. The single-player component isn't all too great, but the game is super flashy, and if you're a fan of the IP, you're gonna find a lot to like here, and it is a good game to play with a couple of friends as long as, again, you're a fan of the show. $25 is the perfect price for the game. At the initial $59.99, just a bit too expensive, but this is a much more palatable pickup. On the other hand, Yakuza Kiwami 2 is down to $19.99, which I believe the cheapest this game has been for. Of course, this is a remake of Yakuza 2. Yakuza have been making some massive strides over here in the West. We got the release of Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami, Yakuza 6, Yakuza Kiwami 2 is the latest game, and many people harken back to Yakuza Yakuza 2 as one of the best games in the franchise, so if you haven't checked it out, it's a great one to buy. However, I wouldn't say that this is the perfect entry point for the franchise. If you're looking to get into the series, get Yakuza 0, maybe even get Yakuza 6. Yakuza Kiwami 1 ain't a bad starting point, but Kiwami 2, no reason to start with this game. Get it sometime down the line after you familiarize yourself with the franchise. Wolfenstein 2, the New Colossus, is also seeing a steep discount. It is down to $12.99. Wolfenstein 2, of course, a very good first-person shooter. This game saw a discount so quickly after its release. It released back in 2017, and I remember like a couple weeks after its release, it was already down to $30. It got down to around $20, but has held up at that point. A GameFly copy for $13 definitely ain't a bad pickup, especially if you want a pretty high-quality first-person shooter. And lastly, as I mentioned at the top, Fallout 76 continues to get cheaper and cheaper. I know a lot of you guys don't have interest in it, but if you do have some friends that are playing it, hey, Bethesda continues to update Fallout 76 as an experience, and I've often said, not rule out any game for making a comeback. We've seen it with Final Fantasy XIV, we've seen it with ESO, we've seen it with No Man's Sky. I do not rule out the possibility of Fallout 76 at some point making a comeback. $15 for the game, hey, it's 25% of its initial price. So if you have been eyeing Fallout 76, if you just want to see what all the fuss is about, $15 for it over at GameFly isn't a bad deal. And by the way, all of those games do have free shipping. If you're unaware, GameFly does sell used copies of games that they rented out, but they always work very well. And if titles were bundled in with some day one voucher code or anything like that, they will come with that as well, so that's pretty nice. Alright, so moving on from that, PlayStation Now is continuing to make some massive strides as PS Now is now launching across Italy, Spain, Portugal, Finland, Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. This was announced over at the EU PlayStation blog, and it says this: we're pleased to announce that PS Now, PlayStation streaming and download service that gives users access to over 600 games at the touch of a button, is available in 7 extra countries from today. PS4 players in Italy, Spain, Portugal, Finland, Sweden, Denmark, and Norway will be able to instantly stream or download hundreds of amazing games on their consoles. And you have a huge range of titles to get stuck into. Games include blockbuster smashes such as Mortal Kombat X, For Honor, and WWE 2K18, critically acclaimed PlayStation exclusives like Bloodborne, The Last of Us, and God of War 3 Remastered, and family-friendly experiences including Lego Batman 3, Beyond Gotham, Ratchet & Clank All for One, and Sonic Generations. There are a lot of quality games on PS Now. The only unfortunate thing, as I've harkened back to over and over again, is the fact that the PlayStation 3 games aren't natively downloadable, and that's where I think a large bulk of the quality comes from. Again, you've got games like Ratchet & Clank All for One, Sonic Generations, Red Dead Redemption 1, some really high quality titles, but unfortunately those are only streamable. Now, if you do have good internet, you can stream those games and have a good experience, but for a lot of you guys, if you're on Wi-Fi connection or something like that, the experience is just not going to be up to par, so that's a little bit disappointing. However, just alone with the PS4 game offerings, it still probably is worth the price of entry, especially because a lot of the times you can get a 12-month PS Now subscription for like $80, and then you're paying $6 and change a month. That's a lot more palatable than, say, paying $20 a month, which is the regular price. That's just a bit too expensive, especially in comparison to Game Pass, where it's $10 a month and they're giving out $1 a month passes all the time. PS Now is just a bit more expensive in that regard, and of course you don't have the first-party Sony games being added every time they be released, but you can understand why they do that. But it's cool to see PS Now continuing to make strides, and I hope that it just becomes a better service as we head into next generation. And lastly, I do want to quickly cover that Apex Legends anticipated Battle Pass looks to only cost about $10. On the Origin homepage, it confirms that you'll be spending around 950 Apex coins in order to gain access to the premium tiers loot, and EA currently sells 1,000 Apex coins for around $10, so about $10 is what you're going to pay for the Battle Pass. That seems like a very fair price. I think it was a foregone conclusion that EA was going to try to monetize this game more and more, considering all the fumbles that they've had recently, and considering that, hey, this is just a free-to-play game, they should monetize the game if they want to make some money on the back end. A Battle Pass for $10 isn't anything too obscene. Let's see how the longevity of this game goes. Can it persist all the way through the year? Can it go into next year? Can it still be a compelling experience for years on end? If it can, well, then this is going to be a game that EA continues to rely on. But we'll see how it pans out. Again, the Battle Pass does look to cost $10. And that's going to conclude this video. The PlayStation Store has kicked off a brand new sale with the EA sale. A lot of good deals as a part of that. Also got good deals for you guys on My Hero 1's Justice, Yakuza Kiwami 2, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, and Fallout 76. I know you guys are gonna meme on me for that, but $15 for it, come on, 25% of its initial price. If you got some friends playing with you, it's not absolutely horrible. PS Now launches across Italy, Spain, Portugal, Finland, Sweden, Denmark, and Norway, so cool to see that make improvements, and Apex Legends anticipated Battle Pass looks to only cost $10. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.